So we should just, let it go, right?
I think we should arrest people who are stabbing people.
I live in San Francisco. I just did it.
You live in a crime-ridden city.
It is not. So look at the statistics.
Today, we're exploring the world of art thefts, corporate fraud, and algorithmic exploits, revealing why crime is often the ultimate business model and the surprising impact it has on you and your family.
And so if you don't know, this is Angry Capital. We explore how money runs everything from the absurd to the outright insane and why it matters to you. And this isn't your dad's financial show. We're making you laugh, trying to teach you something. And so if you learn or laugh, just hit the like button. And if you're into this kind of content, hit subscribe so you don't miss out, because we bring you 3 shows a week diving deep and figuring out this effed up world of finance and the impact that it has on your daily life here.
That's exactly right, Arthur. I mean, we are guys just trying to operate in this world and figure out how everything affects us, affects our money, our families. I think you and I are very similar. We just want to survive. I just want to pay for eggs at the end of the day.
I know. Bro,
right?
I just want to save for retirement. I want to buy a house someday. I'm nearly 70 years old. I can't buy a house.
Are we so wrong for giving a shit about our money?
I mean,
right?
Apparently we are, but I think that there's a lot of people who are doing some really creative things to make money out there. The Louvre heist that just happened here. I mean, this thing is crazy.
100%. Museum heists are big business that crime rings run like a Fortune 500 company, but their tactics are changing in a shocking way. I gotta say, I do love this story. So on October 19th, 4 guys dressed as construction workers and pulled off a daring daylight robbery at the Louvre. They used a furniture lift to sneak in a window and grab 8 of the French crown jewels worth over $100 million. The whole thing took less than 7 minutes. Police eventually caught a total of 7 suspects in the weeks since. 2 of them have sort of admitted their roles and are facing charges, but the jewels are still gone. That's the part here that's funny. In response, all the remaining jewels have been moved to the super secure Bank of France vaults. Now, officials in France say they have no evidence right now that the thieves have ties to organized crime, but typically these kind of heists have ties to a bigger crime rings, right? I mean, can I just say, man, I love this. I love heists.
You do?
I'm bummed they got caught. I think it's incredible that they did this in 7 minutes. I know it's messed up and not ethical, but I'm a heist guy. I think if you have the balls to go in there, I think you deserve it.
I mean, I can't argue with you too much. I'm always about the little guy taking from the big guy, but that's if this isn't like an organized crime ring that's tied to something else here. But I don't know, man. My brain always goes to kind of a little bit of a conspiracy here. Why would the Louvre actually have that valuable of jewels just laying around for people to take? I think they've got them hidden somewhere else, and this was an insurance scam here.
I mean, probably. I mean, like we know from most stories we've covered and talk about in the world today, there's always some sort of corruption and bigger thing at play. This is the generation of spin. I mean, who knows what this story actually is? They may have caught these guys and then all went in for espressos and baguettes after, laughing at the fact that the world thinks they are criminals when they're just friends with each other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't buy any of this. Right. I think it's brilliant, though, that it was pulled off. I think, I'm a sucker to the entertainment of this all, like Ocean's 11, these movies, the Lufthansa heist and Goodfellas, like heists. I just think when you have the take the risk and you do these things and it works, I think it's pretty impressive.
So do you think, I know like the French, they're all up in arms because these are, obviously very important cultural pieces, but do you think that a way to kind of stop some of this is just, if these guys, steal, should they give them immunity just for returning the jewels immediately? Would you be into something like that?
No, that's a little, I think if you get caught, and you need to have the ramifications of getting caught. I agree with real accountability. I think you're a loser criminal if you get caught. I mean, these guys, I would have liked them more.
They didn't do a good job, right? Because they got caught.
Do the job well. You almost got it. Like, you guys got caught. That's why I say, though, if there is a conspiracy, maybe they're smarter than we think. They did get caught with their friends, and there's a bigger thing at play. Also, 9 times out of 10, it is organized, and you can't really pull off a feat like this without having some sort of puppet strings or somebody with enough smarts to help you on the back end. At least that's what I think,
That's why I don't believe this for a second, because the French prosecutors just came out and they're like, no, they're just petty criminals. But everything leading up to that over the past couple of weeks, all the police have been saying, like, these guys were very organized, knew exactly what they're doing. I think the French police are lying right now, saying that they're just petty thieves.
Probably, man. And you know what's funny about this story that keeps going is like capitalism never misses an opportunity to profit. You won't believe this. So the company that makes the furniture lift that they used already tried to capitalize on the moment with a social media post showing their crane in action during the heist, bragging about its load capacity and how quiet it is. I mean,
yeah, I kind of like this. I mean, but you see how these companies, they'll just try to profit on even tragedies that are going on. Like there's a lot of people really pissed about this. But
kind of brilliant marketing.
I do too. And I mean, you brought up a good point before we started recording here. You thought that this may even be like kind of guerrilla marketing for a movie or something like that?
Yeah. You know, the Now You See Me franchise, the third movie's coming out soon. I just interviewed the cast, actually. I'm sitting there with Jesse Eisenberg, and I'm like, did you do the Louvre? Is this just to promote this third movie? Because the third one, really, you got to get ticket sales. So maybe you guys just did this whole heist. I wouldn't be surprised in the world we're in. Like,
I know, because I don't know if you saw also, like, the movie studio who's doing the new Pink Panther, they tried to capitalize on this too, where they revealed that the new Pink Panther with Eddie Murphy that's coming out, it's going to be centered around this heist at the Louvre. Like, are they rewriting the script? It's already in pre-production. This is, I mean, like you said, capitalism at its finest, never missing a moment to profit here.
This is when it all feels like a simulation. Like, is art imitating life? Is life imitating art? Is Eddie Murphy playing every character in that movie and no one's going to go see it anyway? So you might as well do a big heist to get some attention about the storyline. I mean, who knows, man? Also, like, we're competing with eyeballs everywhere. Like, think about it. This show, our Instagram feeds, TikTok, I wouldn't be surprised because, like, how else do you get attention these days? I'm not promoting Heist, even though I say I love them right now on this show, but, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a marketing player, there's something else here, or by the way, this thing helped promote this other thing, and now everyone's doing that. I mean, it's all spin to me, you know?
Right. Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen here. But I mean, people, like you said, they love these heists. These things are big business. Netflix makes a ton of money off of some of these documentaries. We're gonna get into that a little bit. But I mean, this is where it really gets interesting when I started digging around in this, because stealing paintings used to be the way to go. But now these art thieves, they used to be able to grab like $500 million worth of paintings in a single heist, but the Louvre kind of is changing things a little bit. But I mean, you remember the Spider-Man heist in Paris in 2010? The guy who had scaled the Paris Museum of Modern Art, broke in, stole like 5 pieces worth $100 million. Unnoticed by the guards, again, very suspicious, but he was arrested. They made a Netflix documentary off of it. It was, you know, again, another marketing opportunity here to market off of a tragedy.
Right.
But I mean, those things, it's changing a little bit because they were so hard to try to sell those paintings because they're so recognizable. But the jewels, they just like break down, sell them off all the time.
Right. By the way, this guy maybe would have gotten away with it if he dressed as Spider-Man. I know he became that title, but maybe the public would have been like, we respect that. First of all, you pulled it off, but also you are in character.
Right.
You know? Instead of these lookalikes on Hollywood Boulevard or in Times Square, New York, this is the real life Spider-Man, Robin Hood Spider-Man a little bit, right?
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. But I mean, they do dress up a lot of times. I was digging a little bit even deeper here. I mean, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist in Boston, these guys dressed up as cops. The brilliant move here was they did it on at 2, 3 in the morning on St. Patrick's Day in Boston. Everybody's drunk. They're all passed out. So these guys dress up as cops, go into the museum, steal $500 million worth of paintings. They've never found the paintings. Netflix made a documentary on it as well. I mean, $500 million in paintings. That's just insane.
I saw this. Can I say something, Arthur? I think having high value art is the dumbest thing ever. I think people who collect art are boring. They're like guys who go camping. I think it's stupid to get into art. Buy property. You got money, buy property. No. Also, most of this art that's worth all this money, have you ever seen it? You go to a museum, you look at it, it's like, wow,
I know.
Did my toddler drop paint on a canvas? Because that's what this looks like.
I know. I do kind of like some Jackson Pollock, some abstract stuff, but the stuff where it's just like a banana that's painted, I mean, that stuff is dumb.
No. It's all dumb. And I'm from, my people are from Italy, and we go back thousands of years doing this, and I still think theirs are dumb. You want to know why? Because it's all hype. This is the example of hype in finance that we've talked about. Crypto is there, right? Hype in finance. This is the OG hype in finance, which is dumb art that doesn't even matter. It's somebody who just put a painting down, and because they got famous, it's hype. It's hype, and I cannot believe it's even worth this much money. Part of why I think I love these heists, though, I mean, the jewels in France was one thing, but part of the art heist that I like is like, yeah, it's kind of dumb to begin with. Like, it's a funny thing to steal because it's a stupid investment. So it deserves to be stolen
because you don't like it.
It's a stupid investment. So yeah, you kind of deserve it.
No, Paul, it is a brilliant investment. I'm going to tell you why here, because a lot of these, they're all talking about how these paintings, they can kind of resurface years later, things like that. But a lot of times, the wealthy, they are using this as a way to evade taxes. I'm going to get into this here because, I mean, as wild as museum heists are, like legal art sales are a cover for crime too. I mean, the UN, they even came out and said it. They said 3 billion worth of legal art is actually used for money laundering because like these auction houses, they don't have to keep track of these transactions. And a lot of times people are using it for money laundering. Also, they can price this stuff or whatever they want. It's subjective. It's art. They can say it's worth $100 million, sell it for that, donate it to a museum, and then write it off on their taxes. It's a brilliant move here for a lot of wealthy people. You should buy some art, Paul, today.
Arthur, I'm fine with evading taxes. That's smart. Don't have me over your house for fine wine and try and convince me someone who looked like they defecated on a wall is worth my time.
But how else do you pump up the hype? You got to convince people that this stuff is worth something, that it's brilliant.
I think it's the best thing to steal because it's so silly to me that it has value. And yeah, sure, evading tax. There's also a lot of ways to creatively evade taxes with the right accountant. So I shouldn't even be saying that on this show because...
Oh, why? Are you admitting something right now?
No, I'm not admitting it. Not me personally. But I just think that, there's smart ways to get out of taxes. I just think the whole art thing, it's almost, Liz, the pretension of it too. It's like people get so high and mighty over something they were able to buy that has nothing to do with them and their artistry. What artistic person usually owns the art anyway? I don't know. I don't like the whole game. And I do think it's funny when they get away with it. Like the Boston story, I think is my favorite because they got away with it. It's pretty funny. And yeah, I think the legal market, like you said, is for the rich to evade taxes. Sure. There's other ways that make you seem less like the guy I don't want to talk to at a party. And here's the thing, man. The real heist isn't thieves in a museum, all right? It's the rich people, it's corporate fraud, and it's your retirement fund is the target.
Dude, right? Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% correct.
This is a weird question, but what's your favorite corporate fraud story? Drop yours in the comments below, guys. We want to hear from you.
Okay, well, mine is definitely the FTX collapse and Sam Bankman-Fried. I mean, this story is insane. You remember this one? The guy with the crazy hair who got caught with the crypto. So, he was a hero in crypto. He was known as like this brilliant innovator, known for his philosophy of trying to make as much money as possible to give it all away. It's worth $15 billion. But then it turns out the FTX, they were taking customer funds. They were gambling with it, basically, like making all these risky investments. Over 1 million people lost like $1 billion or $8 billion in crypto assets. He ended up getting 25 years in prison, had to pay $11 billion in restitution. This was a big deal here in the Bay Area because his parents were affiliated with Stanford University. He had big political ties as well. Turns out he was just like defrauding everybody. I had friends who worked for FTX who lost their jobs because of this guy. I mean, he ruined lives here. And I mean, thankfully, a lot of times we don't see people get kind of the comeuppance and get a sentence that is worthy of what they did. He got 25 years. I'm sure at some point he'll get a pardon. Seems like everybody is getting a pardon here over the past few years. But I mean, this story was insane. But the craziest part, Paul, you know about how he was kind of like forcing everybody who was working there, including his girlfriend, to take Adderall so they would be staying up all night, just crazy amounts of amphetamines in this $40 million compound in the Bahamas. And that is what was making him do all this risky trading where they ended up losing billions because they were all high on amphetamines here, just trading crypto.
Crazy how rock and roll, they used to say cocaine is a hell of a drug. Now you got crypto bros. Adderall is a hell of a drug, right, Sam?
Yeah.
But I mean, look, it comes down to the human nature of this hype world that we're in. I talk about art, but the crypto hype as well. At the end of the day, These guys were too hopped up to think logically. And I think smart investments and smart business has to do with having reservation. I think about it. I don't know if you've ever taken Adderall, but if there's a moment, having that knee jerk, we're going to rule the world type of mentality from an artificial drug is not going to help business at the end of the day. I bring this back to the fine art though, man, because it's like, this is a hype, right? This is a hype that's completely imploded on itself. 25 years, I guess it's a version of accountability. Do you think that was a good enough repercussion for this?
Yes, if he stayed, and especially because he had to pay restitution, and those payments did go out. A lot of them did go out. I know people who got money back from it. 25 years, sure, yeah. But if he stays, the thing though, we're seeing a ton, and this is where like all of this corporate and financial fraud plays in. We're seeing a bunch of pardons going on. There's another guy in crypto, CZ, who runs Binance, who's actively running scams on people right now, billions of dollars worth. He got a pardon just a couple of weeks ago. He got a pardon. All of these pardons going through. I mean, so I do just want to see him rot in jail for the next 25 years.
Well, wait,
get out early.
There's a petition for him to be pardoned, right? I think. Is that going on right now?
I'm sure for Sam Bankman-Fried.
For Sam, yeah,
I'm sure that there is. I'm sure he's gonna get it. I mean, the guys from Silk Road, Ross Ulbricht, who was like kind of like an original Bitcoin guy, he got a pardon. All the crypto criminals are getting pardons. This is your window here in the next few years to get a pardon. But I mean, so like that's my favorite story just because of all the different elements and how kind of closely tied I was to it. Do you have a favorite? I mean, it sounds weird saying favorite, but do you have a favorite or most interesting crime?
Well, look, I like watching and listening to things about corporate fraud, right? But at the end of the day, what I think gets in my heart, we've talked about mom and pops and small businesses on this show, but also guys like you and me, people trying to make a little bit extra money and investing, and like they're always the ones who suffer. So before I talk about my favorite, I just want to have a caveat that I feel for all the normal Joes out there and Joes and Sallys that have lost their life savings because of some of these stories. Because that's what is the saddest part usually, right? Like Enron stands out, obviously is a famous one. The Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme, which I want to lean towards because OG Ponzi is just, it's old Italian guy. It's been going on forever. It's still going on, right? And he's one who died in jail. So like he kind of got his repercussion.
Right. But Kenneth Lay, the guy behind Enron, he died of a heart attack before he got sentenced too. So, I mean.
But I have to say, I'm coming a little more current. Elizabeth Holmes, Theranos.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
You know why? Because this is a fake it till you make it, like, to the nth degree. Just the brazen nature of pretending the stuff worked. Investors lost nearly $1 billion. Patients received false medical results. This one is crazier to me because the greed outweighed the ethics of, and we talked about like hospitals with private equity. When it comes down to like people's health, that's messed up. That's also my favorite one because like just the brazen balls to be like, I'm changing medicine. This test works.
I know, and they were just like shaking up the blood like in a little canister, and they weren't really doing anything to it.
We don't have one yet about COVID-19. Hot take about, there's so many fake tests that were happening during COVID-19.
Yeah.
Where's Elizabeth Holmes of that time? I'm sure we'll find them out there. But
oh my God, a
lot of those were like, we just said everyone was positive or negative. It was just a crapshoot. It was an algorithm.
It always comes out years later when the repercussion, like the public aren't going to, kind of revolt because of it, because they forget a little bit. But here's the reason why I don't care about the Elizabeth Holmes one, because most of the investors she defrauded were already rich. I mean, the Walton family lost like $100 million. I don't care if the guys behind Walmart lose $100 million. I care about the little guy in the like Madoff or FTX, even things like that.
Lehman Brothers.
So this is just more, it's funny to me in a way.
That's sort of why I picked it too. It's also like kind of inspiring to me. It's like, what fake thing should I invent that I could then convince lots of people? Because so much of this new tech CEO world, man, is somebody, I honestly loathe the jargon that, they get up there, they talk about exactly why they're going to change the world. It's a language. It's you're as a CEO of these things, you're selling what you're making as much as you're making the product. In this case, she was making a piece of S product, but selling it like it's the future. And I think a lot of these tech CEOs actually have that, even down to some of the AI guys. Like, I don't fully buy it's all going to be the greatest thing ever. And a lot of it is what comes out to be false anyway. So like,
dude, it's all hype. There's so much hype, especially right now. Like if you watch CNBC right now, you've got all these hedge fund managers who are on there hyping up their own ETFs nonstop. Buy the Bitcoin ETF, buy the ETH ETF. They're hyping it up for regular people to get in here. But you know, it's not just like these investment funds and these CEOs who are stealing your investments. We have a new problem on our hand that's way worse, because the algorithmic crime that's going on right now is out of control, especially in crypto, but it's happening in the stock market. You might remember back in 2010, there was that flash crash where the Dow dropped like 1,000 points in a minute. About $1 trillion in market cap was wiped out. Turns out it was all because of an automated algorithm used by these mutual funds. And all that happened was they misread some data and poof, everything crashes and then comes back up. That is what you have to watch out for, especially when investing, are these algorithmic crimes here going on now.
How easy was it back in the day to Photoshop a couple zeros? Now you got it in a giant computer, computer in the cloud, fudging numbers. I don't know, my fear on this type of thing is like, how do we ever track all this? Like, unless you're the FBI and you're in everybody's phone, how do you actually, I guess the FBI should be the ones doing it, but they may be a part of this.
They are right now. That's what's going on, especially with Binance. I brought up earlier, we talked about that crypto crash, the flash crash, the algorithmic crash that happened back on October 10th. CZ, Binance, a lot of people are doing some investigations that the FBI is not doing, and they're finding this guy basically was just manipulating it for people to make hundreds of millions of dollars off of.
Wow.
And I mean, people died from this because they got liquidated. They went and committed suicide. It's crazy.
Well, listen, algorithms, AI, we talk about this a lot, man, but it's like, this is the world we're in, and it affects everybody. It also affects your money. And if you thought AI was only coming for your job, listen to this. A report from TRM Labs lays out just how dangerous things are getting with criminal actors using AI, not just for automated phishing or deep fakes, but for full-blown criminal enterprises. This is wild. So what once needed armies of hackers or scammers now might just need a well-trained algorithm. Like, the algorithm is so intuitive, man. This is you can train this thing to do anything, including this type of crime, automating cyber attacks, money laundering networks, creating synthetic identities and deepfake impersonations that trick people into handing over cash. These tools are already here and they're growing. So Arthur, do me a favor. When your ex-girlfriend that you almost married hits you up and says she's in jail in Mexico, don't wire her money.
Dude,
okay?
I won't, because I had a coworker who did this. He was dating a guy who, he got a call from him from Mexico. It was I've been kidnapped. I need you to wire me $10K. He was my friend who was the coworker, losing his mind over this, thought that his boyfriend had been kidnapped in Mexico. Turns out it was a scam, but that really opened my eyes to how easy this is.
Dude, open your phone. I mean, right now, when I look at my phone, I have brain rot. Everything I see on my feed, I'm like, wow, is this a crime on X I'm watching? Oh wait, the person stealing stuff from the bank just turned into a shark, and then everybody dove inside the shark's mouth. Like, we're so close. The blurred lines of reality, and I think as a parent, this scares me. It's also like infotainment, and it's so funny to watch, and it's like we are numbing ourselves every day by watching a bunch of BS. And of course, there's going to be criminals and algorithms that are also going to take advantage of that. Maybe we need to start a business where we help people differentiate reality. That's why we're here as humans and we're not AI. Reality versus AI, especially for the vulnerable on the internet, elderly people, young people. It's like the spectrum for AI crime on the internet, I think, is young and old, maybe, because you're not as used to things, and that's just predators. I mean, it's a scary place out there. Just be careful, and don't believe anything.
Right. I think it's mostly older people. Have you ever been to the Genius Bar at Apple and you see a bunch of like 60 and 70-year-olds like getting help with their computer from the guy? That's what the Apple guys need to be doing, is teaching them to watch out for these scams here. That also needs to be a part of this Apple tutorial going on here every day.
One thing we don't talk about with that age group, like boomers, people, that age group, is think about what a phone and technology does to our human brains, and think about how many decades they've lived without it. It's almost like they're catching up to the amazingness of that serotonin that we all kind of grew up with. That generation, like they're even more hooked, because they're like, wait, I have this thing here that I can use for my brain that I didn't have for so long. It's almost like getting more into the drug, like never seeing the drug and then having it. Yeah. I think that's part of why they get duped. They're like, someone is giving me attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it happens all the time. You see them spreading all this stuff on Facebook and everything. I mean, it has completely changed elections because of them sharing all this fake propaganda and stuff like that.
And can I just say, I talk about the elderly, and I click on every single clickbait link I see. I'm the worst candidate for this.
Of course.
I might have a virus. They might have my bank account. Mm-hmm. Give me a good hook. Tell me why this wife cheated on their husband. Like, my Facebook's all riddled with these like salacious stories. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, it ties into what we want. We're interested in this stuff. That's why we love these heist stories. We love the corporate fraud stories, even though it affects us, because it's interesting. And I think we kind of get jealous a little bit. We're like, oh, why didn't we think of that? Why couldn't we get away with that? Or maybe I'm speaking for myself and I'm just a bad person, but I kind of think, oh, that was brilliant, But this isn't just... Go ahead. Go.
I know. I just was saying. I have to love the hustle of the heist. I can't deny. I just think these people are smart and brave for having the balls. I think it's interesting.
Right. But with these corporate heists and things like that, is this just a few bad actors cashing in on the various heists, or is this a problem with the system? Because I want to dive into this and I want to get your thoughts on this. I mean, change my mind here. To me, the system here, whether it be, the criminal justice system or the system of capitalism in itself, I think that it encourages fraud like this, especially corporate fraud and financial crimes here.
Yeah, I actually do agree with you.
Okay.
I think the system encourages corporate fraud because I think the system's a part of it. Like we said earlier with the Louvre, I think the system might be involved. I think also, if you think generationally about crime, I was thinking also about like the 1929 crash. We talked about that in a previous episode. Like, are the same things happening criminally then that were now? And the answer is no, but humans haven't really changed. I think that the systems in place are bigger, deeper webs. And I also think corruptly, most people are involved in those webs. So like, we're doing similar things. We just have more players involved. Like, there's too much corruption now to track. And look, maybe back then there was corruption and people were involved. I just think the web, we're talking about algorithms today. Like, the web is so deep now that it totally encourages corporate fraud, because somebody on high is getting a little squeeze. This is like the mafia analogy I would say. Someone's getting their taste on high, who's kind of facilitating a part of this. And then we have pardons and we have slaps on wrists and not real accountability anyway. So
the loopholes, the pay to play, all of that stuff. You see it time and time again. Okay, so if we agree there, change my mind on this one. I say corporate fraud and white collar crime is actually a bigger problem than violent crime. You disagree?
First of all, knowing where you live, I think you just need to go out on the street and look around. We don't have to dox you, but violent crime is horrendous. It's only getting worse. Also, if I look at my phone, specifically X, which might be my algorithm supporting violence, all I see is violent crime every day. I got to stop looking at it. It's freaking horrendous.
Yeah.
But violent crime is worse because accountability is changing depending on the politics of the city and the state you're in, right? But in some cities, accountability is less. I don't think corporate fraud and white collar crime is a bigger problem. And if it is, no one's going to change it because, like I said, everybody's involved. So like, I actually think we're more
nobody's going to change it. So we should just let it go, right?
No, but I think we should arrest people who are stabbing people.
Yeah, I'm not advocating to not arrest those. But see, here's my point here. And first of all, I live in San Francisco. I did a crime map of my area here. Zero crime, not even graffiti, nothing, no vandalism, nothing
Bullshit.
in this area. I'll give you my address. You can look it up. I'm
No,
not gonna
don't
give it out
dox
on
yourself here. We might get, you never know with the internet. Don't dox yourself.
But what I'm saying is, yes, arrest the crime. Of course, violent crime is awful, terrible. But to me, there's a reason why you're seeing that stuff in your feed all the time, because that stuff is pushed to you because it's going to give you an emotional trigger. You're going to feel some type of way, fearful, angry, whatever it is. But it's masking the real problem of corporate and financial crime that's going on behind the scenes. This stuff is devastating. I mean, there's some reports and experts who say, like, this costs the US $300 billion a year. People stealing from retirement accounts, savings, this and that. To me, that is more devastating to the average person because anybody can be affected by it and it's not punished the same way. That's my point here.
Sure, if people doing corporate fraud and white collar crime got sentences like murderers, maybe the country would be better off, but it's not going to happen. And people seem more unhinged than ever, at least since the pandemic, and at least since this administration, whatever you want to say. I just think, look, I'm a positive guy, but I just think we're very divided. I think people are very angry out there. And I think that white collar and corporate fraud is not necessarily bigger or smaller. It's the fabric of America. So I don't know why, U.S. crime is worse. Corporate fraud, white collar crime, it's part of our system. It's part of how we operate here.
It is. I mean, yeah, since the beginning and founding of this nation. I mean, it's a part, and I mean, it's real. I just think enough people aren't paying. We see the splashy headlines and things like this, and you get interested in these cases like SBF or Elizabeth Holmes, but there's still so many going on behind the scenes. Right now is like the golden era for financial crime. If you just take a second to look what has just gone on in the past 2 weeks, it is astounding. The level of corruption going on in corporate crime.
I hear you. I guess my approach is kind of a little based in that, like, I just don't think it's going to change. So I'd rather see violent crime go down because, as we've learned in this episode, I may go steal something one day, and I just want to be able to have my corporate backing and my white collar partners to line my pockets with them. So for me, I'm like, stop the crime on the streets. Let me dress up as Batman and swoop into the Empire State Building and steal whatever's there. I mean, maybe, I don't know. But look, crime is sophisticated, man. It's institutionalized. It's evolving. This is not going anywhere regardless. It's actually changing too fast.
Right. I mean, you got to watch out for those algorithms. You got to make sure you're diversified. You got to verify. You got to track your digital exposure. You got to see what's going on. Those dark web monitoring alerts that you get, you got to keep track of those and understand the schemes that are going on so you don't become collateral damage. I mean, both of us, I think at some point have been scammed here in some sort of financial or corporate fraud. We've lost money. And you learn from it and you try to not make the mistake again, but it's changing. They're getting a lot smarter with a lot more technological help behind them.
Absolutely. I think you and I agree to just stay informed, guys. Also, Arthur, I want to apologize for doxing you this episode.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You live in a crime-ridden city.
It is not. That is no, absolutely. Look at the statistics.
All right,
Look at what is going on. Everybody has a perception of San Francisco. It's not the way you think it is. It is beautiful, gorgeous, no crime.
I would hope it's not. And guys, I'm going to go to Arthur's so he could prove me wrong, and then we'll share a video of me walking around the safe streets with him, eating some nice Italian baguettes, even though I made it French.
All right,
but listen, guys, thank you for being here. We're here 3 times a week. Make sure to subscribe, like this, be here with us. We're trying to get through this with you guys. Stay prepared, stay informed, and good luck out there.
Peace.
This show is sponsored by Galileo FX, the only automated trading software that shows you the wins and losses before you buy. Learn more at store.galileofx.com.